We all have days we never forget, don't we? Watershed moments that change our lives. As I walked past the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff on a still, calm Saturday morning, I had no idea that this was such a day. It all happened so quickly. Imagine my horror when I found myself on the floor with a big, burly Welsh bloke on top of me, desperately trying to strangle me. We grappled with each other on the floor like two angry grizzly bears. Somehow, I managed to push him off me, and I staggered to my feet. I glared at the man that just tried to strangle me, my heart pounding furiously. A crowd had gathered around us, baying and shouting furiously like a scene from Gladiator. We squared up to each other again and clashed. This time, I got the upper hand, and I threw him to the ground. I forced my hand round his neck to strangle him into submission. He tapped the floor, and the referee shouted, "Hip hop!" I rose to my feet, exhausted and relieved. I had just won my black belt in judo. To become a black belt in judo, brown belts are required to demonstrate their superior skill and technique by winning a series of contests against their peers. A bit like Speaker Factor, but with stranglers. You see, I have been a brown belt for a number of years, but little did I realize that this brown belt had become a metaphor for my life. It's a metaphor I call my brown belt syndrome. You see, I had done well, and I was comfortable being a brown belt. I told myself, I don't need a black belt to feel good about myself. I told my friends, I'm busy. I've got work commitments, I've got life commitments, I've got family commitments. And then my friends would say to me, wow, Julian, you're a brown belt in judo. That's pretty good, isn't it? Then one day, I realized my friends were also saying things to me like, you've got a pretty good job. You've got a pretty good career. And even sometimes, you're a pretty good speaker. Then it dawned on me. I realized I had settled for less than my full potential. Pretty good had been robbing me of my best. Have you been robbed of your best by pretty good? Jim Collins writes in his book, Good to Great, good is the enemy of the great, and that is one of the key reasons we have so little that is truly great. We don't have great schools, principally because we have good schools. We don't have great government, principally because we have good government. And few people attain great lives because it is far easier to settle for a good life. I think back to that day in Cardiff when I won my black belt. I realized it didn't just start there. It started several months before, when my coach, Pete, challenged me to become more than a pretty good brown belt. I learned that I needed to end my excuses. I needed to face my fears. I needed to get together and train with great people. I discovered there are people you will not meet. There are things you cannot see, and opportunities you cannot grasp until you choose to step up to a higher level. In the movie Braveheart, William Wallace, played by Mel Gibson, says, every man dies, but not every man truly lives. Ladies and gentlemen, what colour is the belt you wear in your life and in your mind? Tell yourself, as I tell myself every day, don't let pretty good rob you of your best. Thank you very much.